You know what they say about people with wide feet? They need wide football boots. Now, I would argue that the two most important aspects of a pair of football boots is comfort and fit. If you want maximum comfort, you have to have the proper fit. But if you have wide feet, getting the proper fit in the first place in order to achieve that comfortable feel can be a little bit tricky, which is why in today's video, I'm going to be sharing my picks for the top 10 most comfortable football boots for wide feet. All of which will be linked down below, where you can get any one of these boots with exclusive SR4U coupon codes below their normal retail prices. If you guys do end up finding this video helpful, please support it with a like, and with that said, let's get right into it. The Puma Future 5.1, in my opinion, is one of the most comfortable boots on the market right now. It features a fully knitted upper, which is super soft. There's a padded layer on the inside as well. So if you're looking for more of a barefoot feel, that's not necessarily what this is providing. But from a fit perspective, especially for wide-footed players, you're going to find plenty of width here and also a decent amount of volume. So if you do have a higher volume foot as well, this is easily going to be one of the best options on the market. And given the fact that it's not the most popular boot these days, you can get them very deeply discounted for basically takedown model prices, even though you're getting top end performance. Out of the four main lines from Nike, by far the best suited for wider foot types is the Nike Tiempo Legend 8 Elite. What's great about this boot is the base shape on its own is probably the widest on offer from the brand right now. And as far as the construction is concerned, it's just a very forgiving boot in terms of adjusting to your feet rather than your feet having to adjust to the boots. You have an internal quad fit system, which is basically what's providing all of your structure and lockdown, but it doesn't have any hard material to it. It's very pliable and basically wraps your foot like a pair of socks, requiring next to no break-in time. And then the kangaroo leather on the outside, while the stretch is going to be somewhat restricted by that internal quad fit system, it's still going to stretch if need be, if your feet are legitimately that wide, and really give you that custom one-to-one super comfortable fit. Not to mention that it does have a central lacing system that runs nice and deep, allowing for plenty of expansion and adjustability as well. As far as wide-footed leather football boots go, this is definitely going to be the best performance-wise long-term in terms of not overstretching on you, because while you still have a soft leather upper, the internal quad fit system is definitely going to do its part in terms of restricting the stretch at least a certain amount. The Adidas X 19.1 might seem like a weird pick because I don't think this strikes a lot of people as a wide-fitting football boot, but hear me out for a second. The one aspect about this that's not great for wider foot types is the fact that the opening, being a one-piece upper, can be a little bit on the smaller side, so it can make putting them on a little bit tricky, especially when they're brand new. But once you get past that and the boots are actually on your feet, this speed mesh upper is super soft. It's very pliable. It does have some stretch to it as you wear it in, and the base shape of this boot, which I feel is pretty clear to see, especially if you compare this to Nike's speed boot offering, the Mercurial, has a decent amount of volume and some decent width. So once they're on your feet, if you like the whole speed boot vibe, especially from the Adidas brand, I definitely think these are going to be well suited for wider foot types. Speaking of speed boots for wide feet, the New Balance Furon V6 Pro would be an excellent option for wider foot types. Not only are you getting this super aggressive and really kind of responsive feeling sole plate here that is featured on the new Furon model, but the upper, which is a knitted base, is really soft, really flexible, and the base shape of the boot isn't that narrow. It's got plenty of softness to it. And what's also nice about the Furon V6 Pro and really all top-end New Balance models is you can also get it in a wide fit variation. So if you had really, really wide feet and still wanted something along the lines of a speed boot, the wide fit version of this I would highly recommend. The classic Adidas Copa Mundial should not be a surprising pick. This is a football boot that will stretch to the shape of pretty much anybody's foot. It does fit a little bit snug at first, but that is by design. The leather is super soft and it stretches quite a bit as you wear them in. So my recommendation with this boot is if you are planning on getting a pair, make sure that they fit as snug as possible out of the box. You don't want to leave any groin room. You don't want to leave any extra space, because trust me when I say once you start to wear them, they will stretch quite significantly. So as long as you have the right fit out of the box, give them a couple sessions to break in and they will fit just about anybody. similar to a Copa Mundial, but also very different, the classic Mizuno Morelia, which is available in a bunch of different variations. This one in particular happens to be a made in Japan model. This is an excellent option if you do have wider feet. The quality is pretty much the best out of any football boot you can buy right now. If you're after something with the kangaroo leather, it is phenomenal. They fit really well. And in comparison to that classic Copa, this has a little bit more of a modern shape to it, certainly lower volume. And I think if you're not used to wearing old school boots, this is gonna feel a lot more familiar versus that classic Copa. Not to mention it's significantly lighter and just feels, like I said, a lot more modern despite looking quite old school. If you have wide feet and you want something that is just pure leather, there really isn't a better option than this. The Adidas Predator 20.1, I have here the low-cut version as an example, as it is my preference, but if you prefer the collar of the mid-cut version, it fits exactly the same way. Either way, in terms of overall fit, I will warn you that this does have a little bit of a tapered fit through the midfoot, so if you have really flat feet as an example, it could cause some minor pinching in this area of the foot, but the width through the forefoot and toe box area is wider than pretty much any other boot on offer from the Adidas brand right now. There's decent width through the heel as well. It kind of has that classic Predator fit to it. Obviously, it's not made out of leather, so it doesn't necessarily have a soft sensation on feet, but if you're a fan of some of those older Predators and the way that they were shaped, this is actually a very similar shape to those, and like I said, suitable for most people with wide feet. One of the most overlooked football boots out there right now, the Nike Premier 2 is not only a fantastic pair of football boots for the money, but also a great option if you do have wider feet. This is a very simple offering from the Nike brand, featuring a thin kangaroo leather upper that is super soft. The base shape isn't particularly narrow, so there's a decent width to it from the get-go, but because it is soft leather with just stitching as a reinforcement and some nylon on the inside for a liner, it will stretch a decent amount, forming to the exact shape of your feet. Not to mention it does have a regular central tongue, a central lacing system, which again allows for plenty of adjustability. And if you did have wider feet in general and we're looking for something a little bit more traditional that's not going to break the bank, you cannot go wrong with the Premier 2. I'll be honest in saying that the Puma One 20.1 isn't my cup of tea, but it is a very comfortable pair of football boots that works with just about any foot type, including people with wide feet. What's also great about this is while you have the structured aspect here on the lateral side, which isn't going to stretch all that much, you do have some really thin, soft kangaroo leather through the toe box as well as through the medial side of the midfoot, which is going to allow for that little bit of expansion if you did have really wide feet, making for a very comfortable fit as you break them in. The central lacing system, again, allows for plenty of adjustability, and as a whole, the lockdown and overall performance of this boot is well above average, and again, a great option for wider foot types. The new Balance Tekela V2 Pro is kind of a unique football boot in today's market in that it features more along the lines of like a classic pingy synthetic material, and that it's not super thin, but it doesn't really have any softness or added padding to it. It obviously features a central lacing system with a one-piece design, nice and deep as well, so there is plenty of adjustability there, but the base shape of the boot as well as the volume in what they've created here really does make this very suitable for people with wider foot types. And again, like the Furon, you can get this in a wide fit variation, which is extremely wide, where if you did need that option, it is available to you. And there you have it, in no particular order. Those are the top 10 most comfortable football boot options for wide feet from the main brands. That's not to say that there aren't other football boots out there from brands that I talked about and other brands that I didn't talk about, but I think if you're talking about the top 10 best options that are kind of readily available all the time, these are the ones that I would go for. That's it for this one though. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to support it with a like. Again, if you're interested in any of the boots that I talked about, there are links down below in the description where you can get all of them below their normal retail prices. If you have any questions or need any advice, feel free to ask that down below in the comment section. If you're not subscribed to the channel already, make sure you hit that subscribe button along with the little bell notification so you get notified when the next new video goes live. You can find all my social media information linked down below in the description as well. And other than that, guys, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.